Wednesday afternoon. I hope everybody is doing well. We're going to step away from it, talk some leather, laugh a little bit, answer some questions, look at some great comments here. I hope everybody's having a good week. It's gotten cold here. Winter has set in. I was out putting up some Christmas lights, I think Monday night. Overcast, the trees are bare, it's windy, it's cold. Welcome to winter. And I think we're going to have some months and months of this. The almanacs all say we're going to have a bad winter this year, and we could use it. The bugs here in the South, that's the big benefit of a good cold winter. But I hope everybody's having a good week and a good Wednesday. Look forward to this every week. Great comments coming in already. Again, when I prep for the live, I want to include every comment that came in from last week. I want to answer every question, say hello to everybody, say goodbye to everybody. I just can't do it, but I do have a few here that stand out. But all told, I read every comment every week. So Sam Lee from the UK, hope you are doing all right. Funny, Sam, you've got a question a little further down right here on my script. Last line on my opening statements is your question. We're going to talk about that. But we might go a little long today because we've got some cool stuff to talk about. Typically, I'm rolling because I'm making projects for videos, or I'm doing a prototype or working on the pattern, but it's all stuff that I've done before. So it comes together in the video. When I get to work on my projects, stuff for me, that's where I remember all the tricks and tips. And I mean, there's some things I thought of that I haven't thought of in years. And just as a side note, sword belts, we've got a good video coming out Friday, just finished it yesterday. I've probably got 9 or 10 really cool sword belt designs, some exceptionally period, but all very cool. Anyway, so working on my own projects, that's where I remember all the tricks and tips. So we've got 1 or 2 very cool items to look at. This week, our product of the week is the English point, and that's going to tie in with some of these samples. You'll see exactly where I'm going with that. But let's start over here because Bolster, 1123, right back to the Holy Land. So glad you're here. Honored everybody is here. Sam Lee, I'll come around to your question here in just a minute. Thomas Johnson, Austin. I love Austin. Done some camping at Hamilton Pool in the past. Let's see. I haven't officially started leatherworking. Okay. Prepping, I bet. I'm still gathering tools. Yeah, I did find a Weaver box addressed to my wife. Very cool. Can't wait for Christmas, I bet. I hope you get a good box of stuff. So the week after Christmas, the Wednesday after Christmas, you got to fill us in. Bring us up to speed. That's cool. Brings back that thought. Christmas is something to look forward to. I kind of tend to get bogged down. Well, trying to get towards the end of the year with work, this working for a living thing cuts into the middle of my day, but also with projects and decorating the house and making plans, tend to kind of get bogged down and maybe not look forward to that. But I've been listening to some Christmas music, working on my own projects, some Christmas gifts mostly. So it's a good time of year. And that also, something that crossed my mind last week, and I do this all the time, and if anybody falls into this category, when I'm working on a project, it's almost like I'm rushing. I'm thinking of the next step, and then I'm thinking of how the project's going to come out, and I got to sit back and think, let's enjoy making the project. Let's don't rush it. That's part of the fun of the whole thing. Let's enjoy each step. Let's take our time with each step. Now, I'm not casting stones. World's worst about that. But nonetheless, it is a thought. So let's see. Paul Pendleton, new guy from Herlong, California. Man, I hope we've got some good tips and some good answers for you if you've got some good questions. Because Paul, every person here will give you everything they know. We're leather crafters. That's the way we are. Okay, Jack Bishop in my shop making Christmas presents. There we go. Very cool. It's a good time of year to do that. Jerry King, Nashville, Tennessee. And I jumped about all the way ahead. Man, this thing makes me crazy. Let's see. Okay, Vanessa Kitty. Let's see. Sherprit 2010. Hi, all from Sacramento. Hello, right back to Sacramento. Let's see. Vanessa Kitty, Connecticut. Hello to Connecticut. I bet it's getting cold up there at this point. Another one here. I'm drawing up my test bag portion for a seam welts for a bag design. I'm cutting out a test end of the bag later today. Test end. That's exactly right. Saves so many headaches. I'm trying to ensure my measurements are correct. Yeah, math not ever been one of my strong points. Um, oh, let's see. Sam Lee waiting for the post office, right? Leather so I can start Christmas gifts. Ah, very cool. Let's see. Well, Lena, hope you're doing well. Let's see. Sam Lee. All right. Yeah. Okay, Sam, I'm going to jump back over here for just a quick minute, then we'll come back. So, Rosa Saldivar, Houston, Texas, I hope you're with us this week. Thank you so much for saying hello. Um, let's see. Jason Gomez. Okay, love the John James needles too. Switched about a year ago and haven't broken one yet. Yay. That's the reason I've been using these for about 5 years since I joined Weaver. I literally have never broken a needle. The cheaper hand sewing needles with the big eye, you'll probably break one of those on every project. Lord forbid you try to do a holster with three ply, like a face, a back, and a welt. You're going to snap that eye off probably twice. So I'm glad to hear that. Very cool. Amy, let's see. I also use, let's see. Okay, the Wolf Vet wrap from Amazon. My wife's got a horse, and I bet $10 we've got some. Let's see. I use this to pad the handles of my hole punches and color code them by size too. Not one, but two good tips. Color coding. That's exactly right. I could try. I try to color code most of my stamp tools. Or in normal years when I'm teaching classes, I color code these, mine. Well, now I use green and pink. Now I'm confused. I'm confused now. So yeah, maybe let's avoid that. We can always use me as a bad example, an example of what not to do. Okay, so, but very good tip there. Let's see, Jan Lowe, I hope you're with us. It's good to hear from you. Jan got a job. Good job. And I'm hoping that's going well. So we haven't heard from you much lately. Let's see, my girl made an advent calendar. Very cool. A gift every day from the 1st of December until Christmas. Today I got an oblong. Wow. Wow. That will set your shop up. Love the sound of that. Let's see. Lemonology. How water resistant is leather balm? It's pretty good. We've got a video. I think I did either 6 or 7 top coats, finishes, and how they worked with water. Go back and look at that. But I was a little bit surprised. I've always been a satellite fan. Use satellite on everything. But when I started doing the videos, I didn't want to use the satellite because we need good ventilation. And it's finicky. It's very finicky. There's 2 big tricks to it. So I jumped over. I tried 3 or 4 different finishes and wasn't really happy with anything. Tried the leather balm and immediately loved it. I mean, it answers all my problems. Well, the point I'm getting at is that when I tested these, I did a different top coat, same leather, same dye, did a different top coat on each one of these. And I didn't just, splatter a little water, let it run off. I squeezed my sponge on every one of these and just let that water sit. The funny thing is, simple candle wax. That to me was the best, most water resistant. Now it's a problem. It's hard to get it on even, but it looks great and it totally resisted the water. Number 2, leather balm. I was surprised on that one. But look at that video because it's got a couple of good points about sealing the leather, but also we just can't seal leather. I mean, how far do you want to go? If you want to go all the way up to a polyurethane, you will absolutely seal that leather, but it's not going to bend. Leather's got holes, edges, chisel holes. Water's just about going to get in somewhere if we're, like with your shoes. It's a rainy day, we step in a big puddle, it's a problem. So, but the leather balm, to me, seemed to be just about the best we could do, short of, like, say, the actual wax, which was, it's beautiful, but it's kind of a problem to get it even to apply it. But good question. Very good question. Let's see. Okay, Corso Workshop. Weaver really does have good leather. I'm glad to hear that. I fully believe that. I love our leather. It's hard to get my hands on it at a good price, though, because Corso Workshop is in Malta. I'm really honored you're here. But when I do, oh man, the projects are amazing. I have to agree. Quality leather actually makes our work look better, even though we maybe haven't stepped up in our skills. It's just it takes the tooling better, dyes, top coats, edge work, it all around. So I'm glad to hear that. Corso Workshop, I hope you're back with us this week. Workman Beck, glad you're with us. Honored to have you here. Let's see. Okay, so Robert Simmons. Hi, Chuck. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving. I did, and thank you for saying so. Good day today. First day out of the house since November 5th lockdown. So went to get Christmas stuff, got home, made leather gift tags just with naming. That's a cool idea. A leather gift tag. Very nice. Left field idea. Very cool. Judith Wright. Let's see. One of my best projects, the sleigh bells. It came out so neat. I'm really glad to hear that. I love to hear when somebody watches one of the videos and makes something and they're happy with it. Makes my day. You know what? Accomplished. That's literally how I feel. And on that same line, I did 6 of those. I finally got these done. But boy, isn't that a beautiful color. It's a dye mix. It's the Pro Dye. Now let's see if I can remember this because I kind of went the long way around the barn. 2 mahogany, 2 walnut, and 1 light brown. And basically, I came back around to like light brown and a mahogany. Yeah, after all that, that's where I came around to. But anyway, it's a beautiful color. So let's see. Oh, this is a great one. All right, Brent Stone. Greetings from North Carolina. Greetings right back. I was in the local Goodwill and got some belt hardware that was silver plated for $1. We've done a video on that. It's a leather element. That's exactly right. The secondhand stores, the Goodwills and whatnot, they're great because we can buy, and it's not just the hardware, but we can get patterns too. Say we see a jacket we love, we can take it home and take it apart. We got it for $5, right? But particularly hardware, you can get hardware that was probably simply made for that company and that line of products, so you won't see it for sale on the aftermarket. Great way to get some beautiful hardware, but patterns as well. Brett, I'm glad that worked for you. Let's see. Okay, Kinsey. Let's see. Kinsey Shankles. Do you pour the dye you don't use when dip dyeing back into the bottles or leave them in the containers you use for the dip dye? You can leave it in the container if it's like a Tupperware that's got a good lid on it that'll snap down real well. But dyes will evaporate. That carrier, it's going to evaporate. So yeah, I go back to the bottle, but a little 59-cent funnel, and I'm no kidding. I probably bought this in the 90s. That's all you need. And dye, if you're new, and I don't feel like I can say this enough, dyeing does not have to be messy, expensive, or time consuming. It can be an absolute breeze. And dip dyeing is the reason for that. But disclaimer, I would only dip dye if I'm using the Pro Dye. Simply because the alcohol dyes, just your basic leather dyes, it's really going to dry out the leather. Now, oil dye has an alcohol carrier, but it's an oil-based dye stuff, so that does help. But the point there is the consistency. When we dip dye with a Pro Dye, it's going to be beautiful every time. Excuse me. Okay, so I hope that helps. Let's see. Okay, Tim Watkins. Hello, Chuck. Hello, right back, Tim. Let's see, asking about your bull skull. Yeah, I think last week or week before we did a different shot. I've got a big bull with some hand-tooled leather on it and foxtails and beads and all kinds of cool dangly stuff. No, I don't really have a pattern for that. That was a one-time off thing. Just wanted to try it, but wow, it came out great. The problem is the skull probably weighs 25 pounds. I mean, this thing, I've got to hang it up with a good half-inch strap, and it's like 36 inches by 20. It's huge. When I bought it, I was at the leather show in Sheridan. I bought it. Kind of wasn't paying attention as to how big it was because my first problem was shipping it home. But yeah, I'm sorry. I don't have a pattern for that. And I don't really know if we'll do that in a video. Boy, it looks cool. I love it. Kind of an obscure project. I'd love to do one, but wow, we've got a lot of projects in front of us. And I hope they're good. We're working on a bunch of them. Let's see. All right, Sam Lee, we're coming back around to this, and then we'll jump back over here. John, given the rise of faux leather product popularity over the recent years, do you think it will ever threaten the leather industry? Okay, I can just give you my opinion. I read the Hyde report and I talk to a lot of folks in the industry. Probably within the next century or so, most likely. The science behind it is bad. Cow farts. That's, really, that's yeah, well, if you look at the science, that's not the issue. And the amount of land, that it takes for cows to graze, again, not an issue. And the reason I say that is because around us, we're in a booming part of Atlanta. We're up northeast. Within 3 or 4 miles of our house, they have within the last year built 150 door distribution centers, 150 shipping doors. I'm not kidding. These are, they're taking up about 100 acres. 1 year ago, that land was absolutely forest. And I mean, when they go in, they clear it right down to the red dirt. And then they build this big parking lot and then this big building. And it's just talk about a heat trap. So a lot of the science behind what we're hearing is probably not all that accurate. But here's another point, and here's something that I've heard. Industrialized countries, we eat a lot of meat. Now, big point. Leather is tied to the meat industry. If we didn't eat meat, we wouldn't have leather. It is what it is there. The U.S., we're eating a little bit less meat, but the other industrial countries are not. They are jamming. Yeah. And then the third world countries, the rising countries are eating more and more meat. So even that century thing, that may not even be right. I don't see that happening in our lifetime. But at the same time, the faux leathers, I've never been happy with them. Some are okay and look pretty good. Now, if they ever get to a point where we've got a veg tan, a faux leather veg tan that we could stamp, tool, edge, mold, form, dye, top coat, then I'll start looking seriously at it. Between there, you know what? There's no replacement for leather. It's like with cars, like the smaller, lighter engines. There's no replacement for displacement, right? Yeah, that's exactly right. There's no replacement for leather at this point. It does so much for us. History. I mean, okay, I'm not going to roll here. Well, I probably am. Sorry. We wouldn't be where we are without leather. No kidding. And I think we're either the oldest human craft or we're kind of in there with maybe the woodworkers, right? Or what the wood chippers. They call us cow jockeys, so we're cool. But the woodcraft, almost identical in process with leathercraft, almost the same tools. But anyway, one of us has a legitimate argument to the oldest human craft. Now, the stonemasons, probably, right? If somebody threw a rock at somebody else, technically, they've got it. But for the most part, we've been doing leather millennia. I have no idea. I think the veg tan recipe is 6,000 years old, 4,005 something in there. And we still tan veg tan just like we did about 4,000 years ago. Basically, oak bark, limbs, leaves. You can make tannic acid out of the acorns in your yard. So, yeah, you can tan. Brain tanning is another option there. You know what? After that long spiel, that long roll, I don't think so in the near future. Yes, eventually we will. But I don't think we have any worries right now. We have a vibrant, thriving craft and industry. I mean, you should see the hide reports, the amount of hides that are processed. The Romans, okay, this is just pieces and parts that I've read and heard. The Romans consumed 1 million hides a year, and at any given point had between 2 and 3 million hides in circulation. 1 million hides a year. That is some serious tanning production. So, and that was 2,000 years ago, right? So anyway, I don't think so, at least not in our lifetime, probably eventually, but we've kicked this around too within the industry. But you know what? There's no fall leather that even holds a light to real leather. At least that's my opinion. Okay, so anyway. All right, but Sam, nonetheless, valid question. Okay. Okay. Let's see, Jerry Scrimshaw, or is that Gary? Please excuse me. Please excuse me if I've mispronounced that. Let's see, where did I go wrong? I hope I can help. Love your live chats. Puts you up glad. Yay. Put some olive oil on back of tooled 8 ounce to make it supple, and it soaked through to almost black 2 days ago. Will it lighten up? Man, I don't use the olive oil. I don't know if that's actually the problem. Yes, we've talked about this in the past. I'm not a big fan of adding oil. Yeah, now it will supple. The problem is you got to add so much to immediately make it feel supple. Over time, a veg tan is going to get as supple as a rag just with simple use. The problem with the oil is, yes, first off, you can see that it is wicked through and through. It's dark in the leather. The biggest problem for me is it's going to wick on anything it touches. If you've got a briefcase of oil tan and you put that on your car seat on a hot summer day, that oil is going to wick right into your seat and ruin it. Same with clothing or an office chair or a sofa. Oils are a problem. They really are. Not to mention they resist everything. Glues, top coats, antiques, finishes, paint. They just resist it all. Man, it will eventually wick out somewhat, but I don't know how much that's going to lighten. I wish I had a better answer on that one. I really do. We immediately think oil to soften. Absolutely. Absolutely. And oil is the life of the leather. It's just hard to get it just right. To get it just right to it doesn't spot or wick or resist. Man, I just don't have a good answer there for you. And I hate that because oil does so much. It just, the problems outweigh the help. All right, so Bob Haney, evening right back to you. Stuart Holden, hi right back to you from the Lake District, UK. Very cool. Let's see. Okay, Flashpoint Bravo help. Yes, y'all, thank you, because I'm way behind on the comments here. So if you drop in a comment, thank you very much. Sometimes it kind of gives me confidence that I may have passed out the correct information. Other times, somebody comes in with another angle, another thought on that. That's a big help to everybody, especially the folks that are new. Let's see. Lawrence Aldridge, hello right back to you, Lawrence. Very nice to have everybody here. Peter, good to have you with us. I hesitate to say your last name, man, because I just feel terrible. To me, that's the rudest thing possible, is to mispronounce somebody's name. Is it Heisteen? Heisteen, I hope so. Tobias, let's see, Toledo, Ohio. I bet it's winter up there. Absolutely. Max Klinger, that's exactly right. Haven't been to Toledo, but I would love to visit. I would love to. Y'all have some good food up there. Let me tell you. Let me just say that right now. Let's see. Okay, Jan. Okay, just a little bit, but that's it. We're probably going to run long today. We're going to talk. We're going to have a good time with it. I do have a joke. I have one leather joke. Okay, so hands down, what is the absolute best use of leather? Unarguably, no other answer. Best possible use. So what I'm going to do is jump down here to the bottom. So if anybody, has a good use, when you hear it, you're going to say, oh, yep, you're exactly right. So you know what? I hate to wait for everybody to pitch in. Holding animals together. That's the best. But now, I didn't say it was a good leather joke, right? I didn't say it was good. Holding animals together. Can you imagine how disturbing a barnyard would be without leather? Right? Okay, so that's my only leather joke. I'll see if I can't come up with another one. We'll do it, every week, a joke of the week. How about that? I'll see if I can find something, that ties in with leather. Let's see. Okay, Harv guy. Yeah, I've got a long one there. Okay, that sounds like some good advice. I'm just kind of scanning through these. It's hard to read the longer questions because dead air. Bad. Biggest sin in broadcasting, dead air. Yeah, hey Sam, there you go. Go eat a steak today. That's exactly right. Go eat a steak. That helps our industry. That's exactly right. And they're tasty too. That's it. Okay. Yeah, okay, Flashpoint Bravo. There you go. Exactly. That's exactly right. Saran wrap or a good baggie. Wrap your gun That way you can mold wet leather onto your gun. You don't have to worry about tarnish or whatever. That's exactly right. Good point. Let's see. Okay, friendly neighborhood farrier. Glad you're with us. Glad you're with us, man. Does Weaver carry screwback conchos? We do. We absolutely do. I don't know if we have any rivet back. I don't think we have any rivet back. We've got some gorgeous conchos. And in fact, using two in the video that's coming out this Friday. Okay, I know I'm rolling here. Let me jump over here. Let's see. I know because I'll forget this and the boss will call me and say, Chuck, and we don't want that. You know, that paycheck, right? Okay, so notes from the boss. Let's go here. Okay, so right now we have free shipping site-wide with promo code Santa. That cool promo code. And there's one in here that's extremely complicated. Okay, on this one, I think this is just within the U.S. With the free shipping. You'll have to double check on that one. And I only know this because I made a scabbard for Luke. I hope you're with us today, but I made a scabbard, shipped it to Canada. It's $45. Ow. It's Canada. It's our neighbors. So, yeah, you might want to check on that one. But let's see. Okay, here's a good one. If you place a $100 order, you get a free Weaver leather supply leather ornament for your Christmas tree. And I've seen these. They're gorgeous. All right, so $100 order there. And the last one, chrome for the holidays. Okay, that my boss and her sister came up with that one. That is creative. Chrome for the holidays. Let's see. We have select chrome tan leathers on sale until Friday. Yeah, look on the website for that. Of course, this says see attached for details. That's not going to happen here, right? Anyway, go on the website. You'll see those. Okay, so notes from the boss. In other news, I'm running behind on videos. Well, I've got two on deck, but we can't release one because we're out of stock a little bit, and they want to get the stock up to a certain point before we release the video on the 303, which makes me feel good. They have confidence that that's going to work, that my video is going to help. Okay, makes me feel good. I'm still employed, at least for right now. I'm going to tell another joke here in a minute, that may end my employment. It's not dirty, no. Anyway, so got a good one coming up Friday. It's more for the period, folks. But we'll be right back to the mainstream. So with the period stuff, it's like holding back the reins because I've got so many cool period everything. Oh, baldricks, back hangers, rapier carriers, men's belts, women's belts. I've got like 9, maybe 10 cool designs on sword belts. Oh, and don't get me started on pouches. Yeah, but let's go. All right. So for the folks who are not into the period stuff, sorry, I keep because it's such a great end. There's so many possibilities there. Anyway, okay, so we got a good video coming up Friday. Let's see. Craft or fail of the week. I kind of don't. I've been working on my own stuff, but I really don't have a fail. But anyway, I'm sure we get some in here, y'all. And I hate it that these happen, but sometimes it's part of it. All right, Tobias. Let's see. I just made a wallet for my wife. First wallet I've ever made, and one of the nicest things I've made. Oh, this breaks my heart because every one of us has done this. Then I stamped the first letter of her name upside down. Okay, there's maybe possibly a way around this. Cut a little piece, sew it on over that, or cut it and then stamp it, right? Smaller piece, stamp it so you don't make any mistakes. If you do, you're not out a lot of leather. And then maybe sew that over that little point. Looks like it was designed that way. Yeah, I've done that once in the past. Other than that, there's not much of a way to go. Tobias, I'm sorry to hear that. That is so easy to do. And it was probably an N. It ends. And there's a stamp set. It's a cheap stamp set. The reason I bring it up is the letter stamp. I think it's got letters and numbers. And they're very small. It's like 1/4 inch, very plain type style. But the numbers are 1 through 9. The 4 is the old type of 4, like that. Well, if you stamp it wrong, it's a picnic table. No kidding. And it's so hard to get that one right. But it's a cool picnic table. Right. Anyway. Okay. So Tobias, I'm sorry to hear about that one. Let's see. Okay. Oh, this is funny. Now this isn't a crafter fail, well, sort of. I've got a bottle of dye with a question mark on the top. Does anybody have one of those? Yeah. It's like, I don't know what color this is. It's probably some mix. I mixed something for a project. Now I don't know what color it is. I should put more notes on these. Yeah, I stick a little piece of leather in there, pull it out, see what we come up with. But I just a question mark on my dye bottle. Oh, that doesn't bode well. Anyway, okay, so I'm going to jump back over here. I am so far behind, y'all. If I don't get a chance to say hello or answer your question, please forgive me. There's a lot of these, but I will read every one of them later in the day. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Evgeny Stavrev. I hope I'm even close on that one. But thank you for being here nonetheless, even if I do mispronounce your name. Let's see. Hi, Chuck. I'm wondering if you can make a video about upholstery. It would be interesting on seeing the different ways of doing different projects like that. Yeah, I love the upholstery garment weights. There's so much. From leather jacket, long coats. There's so many. Oh, the thing is that I tend to push my videos more towards us crafters. And a lot of us don't have sewing machines, don't have the industrial machines in our shop. So everything has to be hand sewn. And chromes just, with exception, but chromes don't tend to hand sew as well as a good solid veg tan. Something that's got some good body to it. Man, but you know what? There's so many cool things we could do. Since you brought that up, it's something that I need to start put some thought to. You're exactly right. And we can certainly use the machine. I've got a 303 and just love it. Unbelievable. Actually, with it on sale, I paid $90 more than I paid for my used Concho with a clutch motor. Oh, and the bag of extra. I know we've already talked about this. Sorry, y'all, if I repeat. It's my age. Let's go with that. All right, so let's see. Okay, Tim Gleaves. Is there something that can repair old cracked leather that's durable and not once it's cracked, it's a goner? You could probably oil it, maybe do a top coat, maybe deglaze, but a crack's a crack. That top grain has split, and it's going to be a weak spot. Once something cracks, it's kind of on its downhill side. There's not much you can do there. Let's see. Okay, Vanessa. Let's see. Making bags for 8-ounce veg tan. Okay, kind of probably got in on the second half of that conversation. But again, y'all, it's a good point. I'll moderate. I'm happy to moderate because I learn as much here as I do simply from working on my projects. I used to be and we've probably been over this, blah, blah, Chuck, go get some coffee and, I'll be back. Anyway, I used to manage a retail leather store and I loved it. It's one of my favorite jobs. It's probably second to Weaver. This is my favorite job ever, favorite company ever, favorite boss ever, employees, product, customers, viewers. Anyway, the point here is that I think I learned more managing a leather store than I did in years of having my own business. Now, see, I got to think about that because my business, that was the seed for most everything I do. The point there is that you constantly are seeing customers come in and out with tricks or tips or projects that they made or designs they've done. So you really learn a lot about the craft. I'm so glad I've got that in my repertoire. I'm so glad. I did that, I think, for 7 years. 7 years. Loved it. Loved the customers. We're leather crafters. We literally are a family. And it's funny, I'm repeating myself. The point, I hate to drop it off, but the point there is any leather craft or event you go to, you walk into a building with immediate friends. You really do. And there's always food. There's always food and coffee. I guess that fuels us. Is that fuel, right? Yeah. The bean. Yeah. Nothing happens in here before coffee. So, okay, let me see. I've kind of gotten out of a couple of conversations, but y'all keep those rolling. I'm not going to break in there, confuse the whole issue. Okay, let's do this. I'm a little, it's already 3:30. Okay, let me jump over here because this is some cool stuff. Okay, so the product of the week is our English points, the Master Tools English points. Love these. So if you're new to leather, this is going to punch the end on your belt or your strap, and I use them everywhere. But really, the big point here, two big points. Okay, quality. This is a tool from one of our competitors. And now, this is probably not a great example because I've been using this tool for 30 years until I started working with the master tools. The point here is that I lucked out. It's been a good tool. These are welded. So the cheap way to go about this is to bend a piece of metal, grind an edge on it, split some bar stock, and weld it on. I have seen so many of these come back with a weld, where the weld, that breaks. Once that's broken, it's done. There's nothing you can do for that tool. And I've seen that so many times. But notice the difference in construction here. No weld. These tools come as sharp as they can be. I have yet to sharpen one of my round-end oblongs or English point from Weaver. I've yet to sharpen these. That's my 1.5. I've got it marked. Get one and a half. I don't have my glasses on. I spend half my day looking for two things: my glasses and my phone. Does anybody do that? And sometimes I have to call my phone from my office phone. Yeah, it's a shop. Yeah, anyway. Okay, so the Master Tools English points. Love these. If you're new to leather, common sizes. I would say common sizes are 1.5 inch for our belt. Secondary is 1 inch and probably maybe 3/4 inch. And if you have those, you can punch a 1 inch strap with a 1.5, and it's going to look fine. It's just not going to have that full bend. Okay, so here's where I'm going with this. We did a video on using the English point in a creative way. Okay, so we can see that it's cool little heart designs. So we've got an English point, and it's a 1 inch English point, and then a 5/8 inch English point. Now, that's a little bit of an obscure tool, but nonetheless, the point is two round holes. So we've got this cool heart design, lined it with some red. Okay, so here's another one, and I think this is one of the most period things. The point here is that we did the video on the leggings. All right, so wouldn't that make a great flap? That is so period to me. So anyway, I started a pair of lace-up leggings. You know, I need to work on something. I got to work on something. What do I need? So I started on some leggings, and I dropped in the heart. There we go. Okay, so that's going to be the flap. So I dropped in the heart. I lined that with a purple suede, dropped in some descending round hole punches, and then some descending spots. I don't know how well that's going to show up, but that gorgeous. That purple is just gorgeous. It is striking. So anyway, I've got two of these done. Yep, there's the other one. And on the inside, yeah, I colored outside the lines. So just, because I'm going to lay this in because I don't want 3 pieces of leather where this wraps around under my knee. That can get uncomfortable. So I stopped by purple short, and I thought, well, let's just do a scalloped edge along there. Missed it by this much, didn't I? Got a little glue up there, but nonetheless, is that not one of the coolest things? And I love that design. So here's one, maybe a little bit smaller. I think I've got just the point there with a spot, some round holes with the brown so that we can see that brown through. And then from there, so I just started playing with this. Right here is there's our 1 inch English point, but right here, I think that's a 1 inch oblong leading to a 1 inch English point. So that surely is a cool design that will go somewhere else. So on our English points, and there was another here. I didn't grab it. But okay, see if you can picture this without the purple. If we offset those hearts. Yeah, if we didn't drop any purple in behind that and we offset those hearts, wouldn't that be a cool border? And I mean bordered, not just leggings, but all kinds of pouches. Really cool way to go. So with our English point punches alone, there are so many ways we can go without start to roll here. I know there's so many ways we can go with those. Okay, other than just a strap punch. Okay, so anyway, but look at our lace-up leggings video because you could probably get a little better look at that. And there's one more that fell out here. Say we do a stamp. Let's see if we can see that. So we've got a stamp that's kind of creates a round hole, then a punch, and then lay in some red behind that. That's a cool little border. And I mean, just stacking cool ideas on top of cool ideas. Sometimes that to me is the most fun. It's just take a scrap and let's just play with it. Take a tool. Let's think about ways we can use this tool beyond the way it was meant to be used. So anyway, but yeah, and there's my little template, because a template, absolutely. I was thinking about marking these just on the leather. It's just a one-up pair. I'm just going to make one set. No, that would be a disaster, wouldn't it? So this is some of our pattern sheeting. Makes a great pattern material. Technically, it's a bag stiffener. You know, we can use this. We can sew this inside a bag. It's going to give it some good body. But yeah, make a template and just lay that one next to another, and that thing just blew together. But yeah, love the red. But also on that scalloped edge, okay, because we're such crafters. All right, so there's the little strap, if we can see it, off of the inside, strapped edge on the top of that purple. I'm almost hesitant to throw this away. I can use this on something, surely. Oh, look at that. Now I've got two pieces, twice the fun. Anyway, do you ever, you're on the fence over, should I throw that away or should I keep it? Let's put that in the round file. Anyway, all right, so funny point there, nonetheless. All right, I'm going to jump back over here because I can see these just flying by, and I'm sorry I'm missing so many of these. Okay, one more. All right, one more, and I'll come back over here. So wood carrier, doing the wood carrier. I've done a wood carrier for my, and this makes me think right at the top of my script. Oh, there's things I've missed totally. Anyway, so trying to, work on my own projects, keep my own skills up. So did the holly leaf from our sleigh bells on the wood carrier. And then a cool mystery braid handle. That, no kidding. Now, don't hold me to this, but I think this would just about tow a car. But the point I'm getting at is this, and this is a cool trick. So right here are Chicago screws, which if you're new, it's just a threaded rivet. That's all it is, and we screw it on. The thing with Chicago screws is they're exceptionally strong. So they're great for like dog collars, rifle slings, things where we really need a lot of weight. But we've got a floral Chicago screw, and I love these. So cool. What a nice detail. But we don't have these in an antique nickel. So I've used an antique nickel spot, an antique nickel Sam Brown. So I want to come up with this. Here's what we can do. With our Chicago screws, I've got just a little block here, and I've drilled holes into this. I think they're 1/4 inch. The point there is that my Chicago screws will simply sit down in there. And I've got on the other end holes for rivets. So I can drop those in. Now I can hit that with some black spray paint. Just run a rag lightly across it. The paint's going to stick down inside the floral design. So therefore, we get a very cool floral design, antique nickel Chicago screw. Isn't that cool? But yeah, it ties the whole thing up. We're looking at the back. Yeah, there's my little stamp. Anyway, so yeah, that's a great way to go about this. Cool little trick to turn a bright nickel Chicago screw into an antique nickel. Okay, I think, oh no, let me jump back to the front at the part I totally missed. Okay, so last week we were talking about thicknesses and English system. Yeah, tedious, cumbersome. But anyway, all right, let me just toss this out there because our leather weights, yeah, it can be confusing. A 4 to 5 ounce. So I tend to keep 2 weights in my shop all the time. 8 to 9 ounce belt weight, 4 to 5 ounce. I tend to call that a pouch weight. So a 4 to 5 ounce typically is 1/16 of an inch, which equates to 0.0625 decimal or decibel. What? Which is 1.58 millimeter. An 8 to 9 ounce, 1/8 inch English, which works out to 0.125 decimal is a 3.17 millimeter. Okay, that's an exact. Now let's jump over to roughly what a 4 to 5 or 5 to 6 is. So a 2 to 3 ounce is roughly 0.8 to 1.2 millimeter. A 4 to 5 ounce is roughly 1.6 to 2 millimeter. An 8 to 9 ounce is 3.2 to 3.6 millimeter. And just to add one more in here, just a good heavyweight, a 10 to 11 ounce. That's about a 4.0 to a 4.4 millimeter. So see if that helps. Because that can be confusing. I'm always talking in English, and a lot of us are not. A lot of us are metric. the second point I wanted to make here, Vanessa Kitty, great question. I was wondering if holster leather was similar to harness leather. No, they're quite different. The harness leather, think about this. This leather is tanned to pull a carriage. Yeah, between a horse and a carriage. So it's pretty dense. It's very stiff. Um, Not great. Not great for, say, belts or rifle slings. But here's the point I want to make here. If you're new to leather, and not even new, because this tripped me up for years, holster leather. When you see, okay, natural veg tan holster leather, that's not just for holsters. That's great for everything. That makes a great belt. In fact, most of my veg is a holster leather. The tannery just designates that to give it a name. It's great for holsters. Well, but it's also great for it. But the tannery would probably have a hard time, putting holster leather. But it's also great for yada 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 yada, right? And then the same with bridle. I love English bridle is one of the prettiest leathers I've ever seen. And somewhere through here, I use that in one of our videos. It's a little bit expensive, but it's gorgeous. But again, an English bridle is going to make a gorgeous belt. We sell blanks with the English bridle. Another one is strap leather. You see the natural veg strap. Yeah, it makes a great strap, but it'll make a great holster. It'll make a great belt. Yeah, so try not to get, pigeonholed into thinking, that leather, we could just use that leather for holsters. Harness. Harness is a thick, tough leather. So yeah, work harnesses, or safety harnesses, or rigging, tack, absolutely. But for the other projects, probably not so much. And then the last one is saddle skirting. This is usually a thicker leather because it's for the skirting on a saddle. It's the big panels on a saddle. So they need to have some good body to them. But also, the saddle folks, they want a tool typically. They want to dye. They want to stamp. So therefore, saddle skirting simply is just heavier weights. Love the saddle skirting. All of my armor is made with the skirting. So hopefully that'll help a little bit. Okay. Oh, man. I'm going to try to catch up here. I'm so behind, y'all. Sorry about that. Okay, it seems we've got a fail going here. Okay, I'm trying to. All right, T-stall. Will Chicago screws come undone? They will. They're real bad about working out. So add just a little dab of white glue. We don't want to weld it in. Like some, what is it called? Weld tight, I think. We don't want to weld that in because we want to be able to take that out if we need to replace it or replace a strap or, update a project. But it's just a dab of white glue. That's all you need, and it'll lock it down. I've opened a Chicago screw that I put white glue in years ago. And I mean, I'm talking years ago, like in the late 90s. A friend of mine wanted me to get his armor kind of back together. Opened up a Chicago screw, and I'm not kidding, there was still wet white glue in the bottom of that screw. Had to be there 20 years. I know I'm starting to get a little hoarse now. Sorry, I'm talking. There's so much to do and say. Yeah, so just add a little dab, and you'll be fine. But you can also, when you need to undo that, you can take a screwdriver and kind of push on the screw side. What that's going to do is lift that cap up just a little bit, just enough for you to get some vice grips on it. Clamp that down. Don't turn on the face or the top grain, but now turn with your screwdriver. You'll be able to back it out, and you won't damage the face leather. So you see if that helps. Yeah, okay, Yamaha Biker, there you go. Yeah, okay, Lawrence. I'm glad to see an old craft still here at this day and time. And this brings up a really funny point because, again, running the leather store, I'd have people from time to time, not necessarily in the store, but just from time to time, I'd say, oh, I work leather, or I hand tool leather. And they say, oh, a lost art. Not if you come in my store on a Saturday, Friday, Thursday, Tuesday, Monday, Wednesday. Yeah, you'll see a craft that is not dying. You'll see a craft that is in full swing. Yay for us. Great craft. So, yeah, we're jamming. Absolutely. Yeah, Flashpoint Bravo. There's some good ideas there. The nail polish, absolutely. Um, let's see. Okay. Yeah, okay, David, set of suspenders. Yeah, I see suspenders at every gathering. There's some cool designs out there. I've never made I'm not gonna say that. I've got a pair of suspenders on my costume, my knickers, because armor just makes everything wanna go south. But I haven't made a really nice set, and I've seen some out there that are absolutely beautiful. That's probably on the list, maybe down a little bit, but I bet if you look around out there, you'll find something cool. You'll find some kind of a pattern. Somebody's got to have one. Um, let's see. Okay, Sam Lee. Yeah, answering Lawrence. I'm a young guy and I'm happy I found a craft to keep me busy for years to come. You're exactly right. We can take this craft until the day we leave this earth. And yeah, there's so much to make. That there's so much to make. Uh, let's see. Okay, evidently somebody's got a good fail here because I keep seeing some comments on it. Um, Okay, Lucas. Lucas Hoover. Very cool. You've got a craft going there. Um, let's say and again I hate to keep bumping back to when I worked at the leather store, but it's a valid point. A lot of us worked on leather in high school or Boy Scouts or something similar. And then we got into our late teens and we're going out, we're partying, in our 20s. We're trying to get a career going. We're out in the evenings. So we kind of walk away from it a little while. A lot of what I saw is people come into leather at 2 points mostly. We're in our early 30s, our career's on its way, we probably bought a house, we've got the kids and family, we kinda got it set. We walk back into leather. We remember having such a great time with it. Years ago, we walked back into it. And the funny thing is, very little changes. I mean, very little changes. You pick up the beveler, it's probably the same beveler you used 20 years ago. And the second point that I see a lot of people come in is at retirement. You know what? I'm retired. I'm looking for a way either to spend some time, take up some time, or I want to earn a little extra money on the side. What a great way to go about it because you can dive in without a lot of money. Yeah, now the woodworkers, you can spend some money on equipment, getting into woodworking, hand forging. It's the same thing. Leather, not the case at all. $100. And in fact, I've got a video. I've got a script going for a next leather element because we get a lot of questions like, how can I get started for $100? You absolutely can. You absolutely can. A lot of the tools that we need to get started, most likely we've already got those in our house. There's a couple of things that are absolute necessities that you need to buy now. The thing is, you're going to use those for the rest of the time you're in leathercraft, like your quartz or your marble. Absolutely. And they don't break. And now I broke one. I dropped one. Yeah. Wah. Dropped one. And it was cool. I had a piece of marble. I think it was about 24, maybe 28 inches, 3 inches thick, maybe a foot wide. Slid right out of a moving truck. We were moving my shop, slid right out and just shattered into about 50 pieces. Broke my heart. Anyway, enough of the spiel there. Let's see, Jeremy Alexander. Got my 11-year-old son working leather and he loves it. The youth will take this craft to the next level. You're exactly right, man. That's the next generation of leather crafters. And I'm so glad to see that. I'm so glad to see younger folks getting into it. Did I just say younger folks? Ah, crap. Okay. Well, it is what it is. Let's see. Okay, Corso Workshop. My new dog seems to like watching Chuck. So we got that going for us. That's exactly right. Um, let's see. Okay. Let's see. Okay, mine are hiding under my blankets. Must be talking. Oh man, yeah, we've got a pup and a couple of cats. We didn't get cats. We weren't looking for cats. They found us. Not one, but two. Lovely, lovely. Why'd we let these in the house? Um, that's oh man, excuse me. It's a little horse. Um, yeah, James. Uh, James, I'm sorry, I don't want to botch your name, but yeah, glad to see younger people getting into it. Oh, let's see. Ian. Let's see, I'm taking a 1.5-inch chrome strap scrap and making a tool organizer. That's exactly right. Couple of screws, and we could drop those. We could drop 20 across a workboard. Nice. Um, yeah, David, I'm sorry. I might have just jumped back to that. Oh no. Let's see. All right. Sherpert 2010, our country just went into lockdown. Man, I can't believe we're still doing this. But it's okay. As long as you're a mayor, you don't have to wear a mask or social distance. That's just what I'm seeing in the news. That's just my opinion, not partisan. But yeah, if you're a lawmaker, you don't have to do all that. That's just us, the what are we, the unwashed, the deplorables. Yeah. Anyway, okay. Well, okay, man, Yamaha biker. I'm getting the second half of this, but it kind of all right. It's why people think I'm a pack rat, but it does get used. No, oops. Yeah, I told you I organized my scrap bin. Man, it's right back to where it was. It's a disaster right back to where it was. Um, okay, Lucas Hoover. The reason I'm so interested is because it's such an old art. Boy, it really is. I mean, gosh. Um, there's a vase that I've seen and I can't find it. I haven't really looked, but it's a blue and white vase. I think it's 2,000 years old. I think it's a Greek vase. Anyway, it shows a tannery. And the only difference between a tannery now and a tannery then is the guys are wearing tunics. Everything's a leather worker could immediately pick that out as a tannery. Yeah, and in Japan, the tanners weren't even allowed to live in town. The tanners weren't allowed to live in town. They were below peasants because it smelled so bad. Yeah, yeah, we've got some great history. But on that point too, I mean, think about it. From the natives in the rainforest, they wear leather simply for protection. Most of their weapons are made out of leather. Inuit hunters, negative 32 degrees on a nice day, and they're out hunting because of leather. That's exactly right. The Zulu. Is anything more indicative of a Zulu warrior than that cowskin shield? And it's gorgeous, right? Oh, the vaqueros, the Vikings, the Crusaders. Throughout history, leather has absolutely been prominent. Now, with us, we've started to see a lot of nylon. A lot of the faux working, and have you noticed? None of it lasts like leather does. 40 years ago, you couldn't find a sport that didn't somewhere use leather. Now, curling, maybe, but they probably had leather shoes and leather belts on. So, absolutely. But the footballs, baseballs, basketballs, everything was made out of leather. In fact, somewhere around here, I've got football and basketball leather. And the baseball, that's tanned, I think, up in Tennessee. So, yeah, old, but totally current. You're exactly right. There's so many angles to leather work. Let's see. Okay, I'm so far behind here. Yeah, okay. I'm kind of working into the middle of some conversation. Oh, Brandon. Oh, cool. I'm making a masquerade mask out of veg tan and want to wet form it, but I also want to line the back with suede. Would wet forming ruin the suede, or should I apply the suede after wet? No, just apply your suede after wet forming. Yeah, that's a perfect way to go. And I might even say contact cement. Yeah, that's going to be nice. Lined, no less. Nice touch. Uh, let's see. Okay, so Vanessa Kitty, yeah, I've been using the veg tan oak for bags and holsters. I did not know something was called holster leather. Yeah, I know. And until I joined Weaver, I was a little iffy on that subject. In fact, I would look through a catalog and I'd say holster leather, that's not what I'm looking for. I'd bypass a great leather because I just didn't know. I just didn't know that. Also, too, Latigo is one of my all-time favorite leathers. Now, Latigo is stuffed with wax. It's got a lot of wax in it because it's made for tack, bridle. It's made for the elements. But I love Latigo. It's a little expensive, but it's pre-dyed. I'd like to add a top coat to it, add some good pop to it, but you don't necessarily need to. But it's a supple yet very strong leather. Um, Okay, let's see. Oh, man, if I just click this a little bit, it goes, and I lose everything I'm doing. Oh, man, okay. Oh, let's see. Vanessa making some frame saws with a leather and walnut blade cover. Wow, love to see that. All right, so, um, let's see. Oh, okay, Lucas, I mean, I'm 12, I would consider that younger folks. That's right, that's exactly right. You're exactly right. Um, all right, so, okay, so it's already 4, and we're still I think I've got everything over here. I've missed some of the, uh, some of the craft fails for this week. Um, does anybody use your old clothes for rags? Is your rag box full of old clothes? Sweats, old sweats make the best rags for buffing, hands down. In fact, if you talk to my wife, I'm still wearing the rags, right? They're rag before they get to the rag box with me. That shop clothes. Yeah, they got dye, top coat, glue, finish, antique. Yeah, yeah. Some of our shop clothes could technically be considered a project. All right. So anyway, all right. Um, okay, let's see. Oh, Kinsey, uh, yeah, the leather history, that would be a cool video because yeah, I mean our every culture has a rich history of leather. I mean, we left the Middle East because we could create clothing. That's exactly right. Um, let's see. Oh man, Ian McAllister, I got permission from the shop I work at to snag some shop rags. I tell you what, you mow through rags on our projects. Um, Adding antique, that's the last stop in my shop for a rag. Once you add antique, it's a goner. Um, oh man, Landryman, Leatherfail. I was punching a name in a dog collar and misspelled the owner's name. Letter stamps. I don't use a lot of them. Yeah, I can. You know, they're easy to. I know. Okay, so if you're new to leather stamps, and some of us sometimes don't necessarily see these, on a stamp, somewhere on that stamp, there's either the letter itself at the very bottom, or one of our stamp sets is it's got a little chrome, it's a little dome, almost a high polished dome on the bottom. So when you look at your stamp sets, look for either some kind of a marking because most of them have a marking so that you can see that they're right side up because it's such a problem. Every leather crafter that has ever picked up a letter stamp has punched the letter upside down. It is. That's the way it is. But see if your stamp set has some kind of a marking that will be on the bottom so that when you lay your stamp in, that's going to be right to your bottom right or bottom left or bottom center. I think even some of them out there have have a little arrow up that will help. Not that we're going to look for that. I don't. It's right there, but I'm not going to look for that. I'm going to try to look at the stamp head, make sure it's right. And I've got a D. I've got a brass stamp, so I use the 4-ton to drop in a D. You think I'd go to the trouble to mark up on that? No, that's too easy. That's exactly what they would expect us to do. So anyway, let's see. Ah, yeah, amazing Andrea. Yeah, right. I'm trying to read some of these, so I hate dead air. I hate dead air. Yeah, background, broadcast background. Um, okay, yeah, Dusty Corpse, because I just love that. But Dusty, thanks for being here nonetheless. Uh, Giving it a mixed. Okay, I'm having a hard time reading that. Um, but I think the point is there. You can drop another piece of leather over it. In fact, sometimes in your initial design, maybe that's a better way to go because we've got our finished product. But over here, we're going to do a small piece and then put our name, or I like to put a phone number in on dog colors. And then maybe sew or rivet that onto the main piece. Therefore, if you screw up a little piece, it's not so tragic. You know, But if you get one right, then it goes on and it looks great. It looks like part of the design, and in which case it actually is. Okay, y'all. So we've got a lot of answers. Okay, Sam, yeah. Um, Chuck, any tips to reduce tooling noise? I know a lot of us, I lived in apartments. Yeah, I'm trying not to make my neighbors hate me. Yeah, but you're right. It's what it is what it is. Man, I don't know because apartments nowadays here in the US, the apartments are paper thin. And more quality apartments are. I don't have a lot of help. What I can say, try this. Okay, so first off, I don't know if you can see it, but under my leather, I've got straps of leather. Under my quartz, I've got straps of leather. That helps a little bit. And then the bigger help, let's see, yeah. So on our punch board, if we're punching, this seems to make the most noise. I'll put a square foot of leather between my marble or my quartz and my cutting board. Then I'll put my cutting board on that. A big point there is first off, it keeps your cutting board from being real slippery. If you've ever just put a board on quartz, man, it doesn't want to stay still. That'll keep it right where you want it. But secondly, it will dull the sound a little bit. Tooling doesn't really seem to be that much of a problem. Yes, we're stamping, but we don't seem to be stamping as hard as we are, say, when we're setting rivets or doing an in punch or punching a hole. That's the best I can offer. We're still using a mallet. It's going to be a little bit noisy. Ooh, Vanessa Kitty, I discovered a large amount of old cast iron irons at an antique shop near me. No kidding. I'm going to refurbish them and use. Oh, very cool. Yeah, it's the irons. That's very cool. Perfect weight because they got a handle on them. That's exactly right. Um, Flea markets. Yeah, flea markets and garage sales. Always a great place. Now, you're not guaranteed to find in leather tools, but maybe 1 out of 10 chance you'll find some cool stuff. I bought a lot of my tools. I wouldn't say a lot, but I bought some obscure tools from a flea market up kind of where Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina. The Ranger Flea Market is up there. There was a guy there that just sold tools. I mean, all kinds of pliers, and he had 3 little boxes of round hole punches. I got a 3/4 inch, a 1 inch round hole. I mean, these are big tools and they're heavy and they're expensive. And I think I maybe got a 1 1/4 inch round hole for like $10. Those 3 tools would be $300 to buy those brand new. Old school too. He had all kinds of old school stuff in there. But yeah, look for maybe flea markets or garage sales. Good point. Good point to bring up there. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Arbor Presses. Yeah, always a good. We've got a tabletop Arbor Press. Very nice. It's slow. It can be a little bit slow, but it works nonetheless. It absolutely works. Chris, cool. Thanks for chiming in on that one. Y'all, everybody. Okay, so I'm gonna start wrapping it up here, and of course we'll be here another 10 minutes. But I'm starting to get a little hoarse. Donald. Let's see, Donald. Waiting on some to arrive. I'm not sure what, but I can almost guess. So I can try making my wife a laptop mat, mouse pad. Oh man, that's a great project. That's a good project. Cool. Okay, and here's another one. Just because I saw a box. Let's see. Okay, so at the craft stores, the bigger craft stores, they sell wooden boxes. They're just cheap. They're just cool, cheap little wooden boxes. Cover these in a chrome tan. A little contact cement, a little cutting, and you've got the coolest little leather box. And you can put all kinds of decorations on those. We've got 3 or 4 through the house. I think one I laid a template and just added some spray paint. A little pink spray paint, little pink box. They're cool. They've got all kinds of little shapes of boxes. But yeah, those are cool gifts. Incredibly inexpensive and very easy to make. Let's see. Okay, y'all, I'm gonna start wrapping. I know. I'm gonna start. Sorry, y'all. Let me do this little sip of some good iced tea. That'll help a little bit. Oh, Vanessa. Okay, good point there. Make sure your mouse pad is not shining for the laser light reflection. Good point there. This is funny. This is one. It's got Coke, coffee, orange juice, tea. But this thing is now, I think I made this when I made our mouse pad video. So that's got to be 4 or 5 years old, and I use it every day and absolutely love it. That's a great gift for someone. And just about any leather will make a mouse pad. If you've got a lighter weight chrome, just go ahead and line it. Drop in another leather behind that. Give it some good body. Oh, man, a mouse pad is going to last for years and years. Okay, Andre Bravin, because I just saw leather pellets stick out. Have you found any use for the small pellets from punching holes that just makes the workplace a mess? Yeah, and they'll screw you up too if you ever bevel over one of those. Oh, yeah, that'll bring out some ugly language. No, there's no, the trash can. Now, from I think last week or the week before, somebody had chimed in that somebody takes them and uses them for maybe a little bag, a little cushion bag. I'm not organized enough to try to keep those. I just brush them on the floor and then sweep them up because those will bring disaster to your project. Let's see, Christian Matchett. Are the Black Friday orders about ready to ship? Been happily waiting. Oh, bless your heart to say happily waiting. We got a little behind. We got, and thank you for the business. I will apologize for every person at Weaver Leather. We're a little behind, but it's Weaver working hard to get everybody up to speed. And if it's, I don't know this. I don't know this because I'm a little detached from the mothership. But if it's been a little bit, I can imagine it's probably not far out. And I'll keep my fingers on that, y'all. Sorry for the delay. Absolutely. Until all this started, man, I can't give you specifics, but the outs in our warehouse were under a dozen. I think somewhere anyway, the point there is that we were pretty well stocked. This hit us pretty hard. It's hit us pretty hard. But we're working hard at it. It's Weaver. We're going to work hard at it. Good work ethic throughout the plant, and every person from the top down is on that. I keep seeing, let's see, Stingray. I've got a blue Stingray here. It's dyed blue. Love it. It's hard to work. It's hard to work with because it's beaded, and those little beads, they're like pearls. It's hard to cut. It's not going to bevel. You can chisel it, but it kind of tears it up. So probably the best thing to do is an overlay. But yeah, the Stingray on the samurai swords, that was the go-to for the samurai sword because it's got some great grip to it. It's a pebble, an inconsistent pebble pattern, and they're beautiful. I've seen a few come across my shop, and I grabbed one. I've never used it because it looks cool, right? I think it's hanging on the wall in my office. But Sam, the mothership. Yeah, I know the mothership. I'll say. Anyway, Peter. Well, good night to you, friend. Thank you for being here. Vanessa, I still have my leather-handled issue pilot survival knife. Wow. Very cool. First off, thank you for serving. Big thank you on that one. Okay, let's see. Dylan Henson, I want to make a tooled leather pick guard for my electric. Wow. Worlds of Pie. Again, a project literally out of left field, but I've seen these. Do you have any tips on what to use as a backing? I can attach it so it doesn't shrink or expand. Dylan, I'm sorry, I don't really have. Oh, USAF. Vanessa, my dad, USAF. I have two dads. My real dad was Air Force. My stepdad, Marine Corps. Let's see. Dylan, I don't know on that one. I'm not up to speed enough to attaching that. I'm unsure of how to attach that to the guitar itself. That worries me, first off. Man, I'm sorry. Boy, ask any question anytime that I absolutely can offer no help on. I might look to YouTube to see if there's any information on that. There's got to be. It's not super common, but it's not incredibly uncommon either. I don't know on that one. Man, I'm sorry to tell you, I just don't have a good idea on that one. I wish I could help. There's a lot of questions I'm unable to answer. That makes me a little bit nuts. But Vanessa, very good. Back to you. Thank you so much. What a pleasure to have you serving us. Absolutely. Um, let's see. Debashish Roy Chowdhury. I think I've got that one right. Well, a big hello right back to India. Um, oh man, I'll do my best. Thank you very much. And oh, your food again. Back to food. Wow, hot, but love it. Oh man. We've got a little restaurant. Was a buffet. Um, and you could get a little taste of everything. Man, the curries. Oh boy. Um, there's also so a lot of the food is very hot. Love it, but we eat, we sweat, and we watch cricket. They have a coleslaw that instantly cools the heat. I mean instantly. The second it touches your mouth, the heat is gone. And I've always been wanting to ask them, what is this? I never have. Um, Y'all, okay. Oh man, it's 4:15. I know, and I would just want to. I'm getting a horse. I just want to keep going, y'all. So many great questions and comments and answers. Y'all, let's call it here this week. We're gonna say goodbye, wrap it up. Um, but if you've got a comment here that I didn't get to, I'll do my best to bring it up next week or a question, and I'll do my best to say hello. But I'll go through every comment. Um, I've gotten to where I don't necessarily watch these right after today. Takes Miriam a little while to get those to me, but every Wednesday morning, first thing I do in my shop, sit down, go through the comments, and I go through these one at a time. So if you've got a comment or a question in here that I didn't get to, I'll do my best to get to it next week, or I'll do my best to say hello next week. And what makes me crazy too is everybody's saying goodbye because I want to say goodbye right back to you. Y'all. Um, Oh, good, y'all. Thank you so much. I can't get all the tips. We're leather crafters helping everybody. Everybody's helping everybody out. What a blast. Uh, Cat'll have a major stake in leather futures. Josh, that's a good one. Uh, oh, yeah, Rick. Okay, this is a good one. I just opened my shipment from Weaver. Thank you for your business. I found the 32-ounce Pro Dye has a wider mouth on the bottle than they do. I don't think I have any in yet. I've got a bottle of black coming. But yeah, that it's going to be a big help to us. But you know what's funny is the bigger help. My first thought was, with those questionable bottles of dye, we don't know what the mix is. What I do is typically cut like about maybe a 5/8 inch strap of edge, and I can just dip it down in the bottle, set it aside. That's going to give me enough of an idea of the color, but it's going to be nice to be able to drop in maybe a 1 inch strap, really give us a good idea of the color. So, shipper at 2010, tell Weaver, love the free shipping. My boss will see that. Absolutely. Um, let's see. Jason Gomez. Jason, we'll look forward to seeing you next week. Yeah, we're going to wrap it up for today. And again, like leaving the house. Bye, y'all. Bye, y'all. It takes 20 minutes to leave. We'll be on next week, 3 o'clock next week. Christmas is getting close. Anybody got some great Christmas ideas, out of the box, out of left field that we may not be thinking of? It's crunch time, like these sleigh bell straps. I tooled those a month ago. I've got time. I've got time. Now, Christmas, yeah, coming on fast. Need to get my butt on those. So I actually dyed them this morning. Um, Sam, thank you so much. Right back to you. I look forward to these, and I hope they're worthwhile to you. I hope it's worth everybody's time. It certainly is a blast from this end. Talking to everybody. I'm kind of cooped up here, but also talking to leather people. We don't always get that chance in our day-to-day life, right? So it's good to connect. Well, y'all, I'm going to wrap it up from here. And good luck with your projects. Absolutely, but I can't seem to leave it there. But y'all have a great afternoon, a good evening. Have a great Thursday and Friday. good weekend, y'all. I hope everybody has a great second half of the week. Blessings to everybody that's here. It is an absolute pleasure. Love you guys. Can't wait to see you next week. I'm going to start looking forward to it right now. Y'all have a good evening, a good afternoon. Thanks so much for making these what they are. Bye, y'all.